Hello everyone, today we are back with another LeetCode problem. Today it's a easier one. We're doing number 206, reverse a linked list. Now we are jumping out of order here, but I realized that doing every single one by one will take a really long time, so I do want to do one of the more popular ones first, some of the more common ones, and then eventually, hopefully, at some point I get through every single one. Today's problem is to reverse a linked list. It's an easy question and it is very simple solution. And so we're given the head of a singly linked list, reverse the list, and return the reversed list. So should be pretty easy to understand, but let's just quickly explain this example. All it is we are given some linked list. And okay, very quickly, how a linked list works is we have a node. We have a next variable which points to something else. This could be a none or it could be another node, and within this value we also store some value. So in this example it's 5. Well, we start at 1 actually, so it'd be 1. This one points at 2. This one points at 3. This one points at 4. This one points at 5, and this last one points at nothing. Now, something that some people might confuse about reversing a linked list is actually reversing these numbers here, but no, that would actually be wrong. What we have to do is reverse the direction of these. Now, in this question, what does it mean by we are given the head? The head of a linked list is actually this very first item, and being given the head means we are given a reference to the front. So what do we have to do? We have to reverse the direction, and then from there, after we are done that, well, this would also start pointing to nothing. This becomes our head, and we return that as an output. Should be very simple. Let's go through how we should be doing this. Now let's just draw this linked list again. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, final one pointing at nothing, and let's just keep an H here. This is our reference head. Now, well, obviously we're gonna have to traverse through the linked list in some way to do this. So let's create a iter variable which starts at head, and we are going to be traversing by going on using the next value of each node. So notice here, well, if we were to reverse the direction of this very first one, well, this arrow would, this dot next would be reassigned to nothing. So right away we need, let's say, a temp1 variable to store this nothing, this none variable. Oops, temp1. Okay, so that's fine. But if we do this, now we're stuck here, because if we go to iter.next, we're actually going here, and that is a problem because now we're at none. We have, after doing that, we have no way of continuing. Okay, so maybe we create a second variable, let's call it temp2, and this will just keep a hold of our next. So this whole process, and that's everything. Those are all the variables we need. This whole process, well, what do we do? Well, this iter.next, we are going to reassign it to temp1. Okay, now how do we get to this 2 node? Well, we can't go through iter.next anymore. We could go through here. We could just set it equal to temp2. But before that, we actually want to move our temp1, because our temp1 just stores whichever node was before. And then here, temp2, we can actually traverse to the next one. And we do the same thing. Move this arrow, point it back at temp1. Move temp1 here. Move iter to temp2. Move temp2 to .next. Do the same thing here. Well, we forgot to draw this arrow, sorry. But anyways, oh yeah. Oh yeah, okay, never mind, sorry. So now we're at iter. We have to get rid of this point it back at temp, move temp1, move iter, move temp2. Now we're at iter, we want to remove this next, we want to move it back to temp1, and we just move everything again. This becomes here, this becomes here. Now temp2 is actually at none. And our very final step is to actually remove this, point it there, and we don't need to move anything, we just return iter. So I think that's all it is to this question. Let's head over to LeetCode and code up the solution. Okay, now that we are over in LeetCode, just move this down. So first of all, we're given a definition to how these list nodes actually work. So again, we store a value variable, which just holds whatever number the node is holding, and a next, which is where we are pointing to next. So let's just start it off. First, let's get rid of a very obvious edge case. What if our head was actually none? Well, at that point, we want to also return none. Okay, so let's create our iter variable. We'll set that by default to head. Let's create our temp1, and this is the node before our iter, and at this point there is nothing there, so we'll set it to none. And our temp2 is actually whatever is after, and we will continue to traverse until temp2 reaches none. We don't want to wait until iter reaches none because we're returning iter. Here, remember, we want to reassign the next back to temp1. Then we want to bring over the temp to iter before we bring over the iter to temp2. And we want to traverse with our temp2, and that's just going to be equal to iter.next. We can also just go temp2.next. I think that might make more sense. Yeah, so from there, this will continue to loop until we hit a none. Now, when we do hit a none, we don't want to just return iter because iter is actually still pointing to none. So we just want to switch this back to temp1 one more time. Temp1, and we return iter. Now, if everything's correct, this should be all good. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Beats 100%. Now, this would be a time complexity of O to the n because we are just traversing through the entire linked list. We're not doing anything more. Well, thank you guys for watching another video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.